For a long time, confidence has been marketed as something loud. It looks like strong eye contact that never breaks, a firm voice that fills the room, bold statements delivered without hesitation. In meetings, the person who speaks first and speaks the most often appears to control the atmosphere. In social settings, the one who tells the loudest story seems to command attention. It is easy to assume that confidence equals dominance, speed, and volume. But if you observe closely, you will notice something quieter. Sometimes the loudest person does not actually hold the most influence. Sometimes the room shifts when someone who has been silent finally speaks. There are people who rarely interrupt, who do not rush to assert themselves. Yet when they offer a sentence, everyone listens. There is weight behind their words, not because they are aggressive, but because they are steady. If you are not naturally loud or extroverted, you may have questioned yourself. You may have believed that your calm nature means you lack confidence. You may have tried to amplify yourself artificially, speaking faster, gesturing more, pushing your energy upward, only to feel drained afterward. But confidence is not volume. It is not charisma performed at high intensity. It is internal stability. Human beings are wired to read nervous systems. We interpret calm breathing, controlled pacing, and measured tone as signs of authority. Stability signals safety, and safety signals strength. When someone appears emotionally regulated, others relax around them. That relaxation is often misinterpreted as admiration, but it is deeper than that. It is trust. In Japan, there is cultural respect for quiet competence. Humility and composure are not seen as weakness. They are considered evidence of discipline. A person who does not boast, who does not overstate, who remains calm under pressure, is often viewed as strong. Quiet competence carries more weight than loud dominance. The strength is assumed rather than declared. You do not need to change your personality to become more confident. You do not need to force extroversion if it does not fit you. What you need to adjust are the signals your body and voice are sending. Confidence is not something you shout into existence. It grows from regulation, from a nervous system that is not scrambling to prove itself. When your internal state stabilizes, your external presence shifts naturally. Confidence is not built by pretending to be bigger. It is built by becoming steadier. There is a quiet paradox about confidence. The more you try to look confident, the less confident you often feel. You raise your voice slightly higher than natural. You exaggerate your gestures. You force eye contact longer than is comfortable. You push yourself to speak quickly so there are no gaps. From the outside, it might look bold, but inside, your nervous system is working overtime. Fake it until you make it can sometimes help people step outside their comfort zone. But when faking becomes constant, it creates strain. Your body knows when it is performing. Your breathing becomes shallow. Your shoulders tighten. Your tone sharpens. The effort to maintain the image drains energy, and that subtle tension leaks through microsignals. If you feel anxious before speaking or presenting, that does not mean you are weak. Anxiety is not a character flaw. It is a physiological state. Your nervous system preparing for evaluation. The problem begins when you try to cover anxiety with overcompensation, speaking louder than necessary, laughing too much, over-explaining to sound certain. These behaviors are attempts to outrun discomfort. But overcompensation often signals the very insecurity you are trying to hide. When your body and your words are misaligned, people sense it. They may not consciously identify the mismatch, but they feel it. Confidence is alignment. Your voice, posture, facial expression, and emotional state move in the same direction. When you exaggerate beyond your natural baseline, alignment breaks, and broken alignment reduces perceived confidence. In Japanese social culture, there is a distinction between tatemae, the controlled outward presentation, and honna, the inner truth. But even within tatemae, composure is prioritized over exaggeration. Expression is measured. Emotion is contained. The emphasis is not on appearing bigger than you are, but on maintaining stability. Assertion comes after regulation, not before. You can begin simplifying your approach immediately. Reduce exaggeration in your voice. If you normally raise your volume to sound strong, lower it slightly. If your gestures become wide and fast when you speak, soften them. Let your movements match your natural rhythm rather than pushing beyond it. When you stop trying to amplify yourself, your body relaxes. And when your body relaxes, your signals become coherent. Confidence is not performance. It is alignment between your inner state and your outer behavior. The more your actions reflect a regulated nervous system, the less you need to convince anyone that you are confident. There is one signal that communicates confidence more quickly than almost anything else: tempo. The speed at which you speak, the speed at which you move, the speed at which you respond. Most people underestimate how much their tempo reveals. When you are nervous, your speech tends to accelerate. Words come out faster. Pauses shrink. Sentences stack on top of each other. It feels like you are trying to deliver everything before it can be questioned. A fast movement often accompanies this. Quick hand gestures, rapid nodding, immediate reactions. Even if your words are intelligent, the urgency underneath them suggests uncertainty. Tempo communicates emotional state. A regulated nervous system moves at a steady pace. It does not rush to fill silence. It does not scramble to respond. It allows space between stimulus and reply. When someone speaks slightly slower than the room, something subtle happens. Their words carry more gravity. Listeners adjust their attention to match that pace. In traditional Japanese tea ceremonies, every motion is deliberate. The cup is lifted without hurry. The water is poured with precision. The ritual slows the entire space. The slowness is not weakness, it is control. That measured pacing creates presence. In professional settings as well, many Japanese business leaders speak with a steady rhythm, rarely rushing their sentences. The consistency suggests clarity and composure. You can practice this without changing who you are. Reduce your speech speed by about 10%. Not dramatically, just enough to remove urgency. Insert a 1-second pause before replying to a question. When someone finishes speaking, let their last word settle before you respond. These small adjustments immediately shift how your confidence is perceived. Slowness creates gravity. When your tempo steadies, your presence feels anchored. People are less likely to interrupt you. They lean in instead of bracing for speed. And as your body experiences that stability, your internal sense of confidence grows as well. Another powerful habit is speaking with fewer words. Many people over-explain in an attempt to sound competent. They add extra details, disclaimers, clarifications. They anticipate objections before they arise. But over-explaining often weakens authority. When you keep talking beyond your main point, it can signal doubt. Clarity signals certainty. When you state something in one clean sentence and stop, it feels grounded. Scarcity increases weight. The fewer unnecessary words you use, the more each word matters. Silence after a statement reinforces strength. It implies that you trust what you just said. In Japanese workplaces, managerial communication is often brief and measured. Instructions are given calmly. There is little emotional embellishment. Even indirect statements carry firmness through tone rather than length. The brevity communicates confidence without aggression. You can experiment by answering questions in one sentence when possible. Deliver your main point clearly, then stop. Resist the urge to fill the silence with extra reassurance. Let your statement stand. You may feel exposed at first, but over time you will notice that shorter sentences feel stronger. Confidence is not built by adding more. It is often strengthened by removing what is unnecessary. When your tempo slows and your words become concise, your presence begins to carry quiet authority. Another layer of quiet confidence is emotional regulation. Many people believe confidence means never feeling nervous. That is not realistic. Even the most composed individuals experience internal fluctuations. The difference lies in how quickly those fluctuations become visible. When someone reacts immediately to every comment, laughing loudly, frowning sharply, interrupting defensively, their emotional state appears externally driven. Their mood seems dependent on what just happened. This creates instability. Instability reduces perceived confidence because it signals that the person is easily shifted. Emotional regulation does not mean suppressing feeling. It means inserting space. When something triggers you, take a breath before responding. When someone challenges your opinion, let your expression remain neutral for a moment. Maintain a steady tone instead of raising your volume. This pause communicates that your internal state is not fragile. In Japanese social contexts, composure is often emphasized. Public reactions are moderated. Disagreement can exist, but it is delivered calmly. Excitement can be present, but it is contained. This consistency builds trust. When others know that your emotional climate is stable, they feel safer engaging with you. You can begin with something simple. Before replying in conversation, inhale slowly once. Let the breath settle your body, then speak. That brief regulation changes the quality of your response. It feels measured rather than reactive. Posture and stillness also play a major role in confidence. Fidgeting, shifting weight constantly, tapping fingers, adjusting clothing repeatedly. These micro-movements leak nervous energy. Even if your words are strong, restless motion suggests insecurity. Stillness communicates grounding. Think of the metaphor of a samurai standing calmly before action. The strength is not in dramatic movement. It is in controlled stillness. When your body is steady, your presence feels anchored. You can practice reducing micro-movements. When standing, distribute your weight evenly instead of swaying. When sitting, keep your hands relaxed and still instead of fidgeting. When listening, hold your posture without unnecessary shifts. The goal is not rigidity, it is intentionality. As your body becomes more still, your mind often follows. The nervous system interprets physical steadiness as safety. That safety feeds internal confidence. Over time, the absence of restless movement reinforces the perception that you are composed and self-assured. Confidence is not dramatic. It is quiet control over tempo, words, emotion, and posture. Each small adjustment accumulates, and as it accumulates, your presence begins to feel solid rather than fragile. One of the most subtle ways confidence erodes is through the constant search for validation. After you speak, do you scan the room to see how people reacted? Do you look for nods, smiles, or signs of agreement before continuing? These micro-checks may seem harmless, but they reveal where your stability is anchored. When your emotional balance depends on external approval, your body signals it. Your eyes move quickly across faces. Your tone shifts if you sense hesitation. You adjust your message mid-sentence to maintain harmony. This constant calibration fragments your presence. It suggests that your confidence is conditional. True confidence has an internal anchor. It does not reject feedback, but it does not rely on immediate reassurance to remain steady. When you speak and allow your words to stand without scanning for reactions, you communicate alignment. You trust your own perspective enough to let it exist independently. You can practice this in small interactions. After expressing an idea, keep your gaze steady for a moment instead of searching for approval. Allow silence. If someone disagrees, remain calm. If someone agrees, accept it without leaning into it. The less you appear to need validation, the more naturally it arrives. Another foundational habit is building silent competence. Confidence grows when you know, internally, that you are improving. It does not require public display. It requires discipline. In Japan, craftsmanship is deeply respected. The shokunin mindset emphasizes daily refinement of skill. A craftsperson does not declare mastery loudly. They practice quietly. Over years, their skill speaks for itself. This steady dedication builds an unshakable confidence because it is rooted in evidence. You can apply this principle by committing to a small daily improvement in one area that matters to you. It could be practicing a skill for 20 minutes, to reading a few pages consistently. Refining your physical health slowly. The key is repetition without announcement. As competence grows, your internal narrative shifts. You begin to trust yourself more. When confidence is built on quiet mastery rather than performance, it feels stable. You do not need to prove anything in every conversation because you know you are progressing. That knowledge reduces the urge to exaggerate or impress. Confidence, at its core, is coherence. Your voice, posture, emotion, and skill align. There is no dramatic performance. There is no frantic energy. There is simply steadiness. You may have believed that you lacked confidence, but often you simply lacked alignment. When your nervous system settles, your movements slow, your words become concise, your reactions are regulated, your posture steadies, your need for validation decreases, and your competence grows quietly. Something shifts. Confidence stops feeling like something you have to manufacture. It becomes something you inhabit. You do not need to be louder. You need to be steadier. When your nervous system settles, your confidence stops shaking.